Gas and bloating are uncomfortable and embarrassing, and it's definitely a sign that something is wrong with your digestion. Ignoring these symptoms can lead to severe digestive disorders, nutrient deficiencies, and chronic illness. So please pay attention to the warning signs. Today I'm going to empower you with effective natural tools that are going to help you eradicate gas and bloating and help you take charge of this condition. I had a male patient several years back, maybe 15 now as I think about it, and he was actually a friend of mine and moved out of the country since then, but actually his gas and bloating was such a problem that it was affecting his relationship with his wife and his intimacy. And it got so bad that his wife actually came to me and gave him an ultimatum that he better come and see Dr. St. John or else. So I worked with him naturally, got him on the proper diet, proper supplements, and within 6 weeks, not only was his gas and bloating greatly diminished or gone 90% of the time, but he actually lost 15 pounds. And it just gave him a new lease on life. He was so happy, he was more upbeat, his blood sugar was more stable, but above and beyond all of that, the gas was no longer a problem. And I assure you his wife couldn't be more happy at the time. So let's dive into some of these tips that I'm going to recommend to help you with your gas and bloating, or a friend or loved one for that matter. And these tips are safe, effective, and natural. This is probably one of the top 5 symptoms that I treat in my clinic and have so over the past 25 years. It's just a really common one. There are a lot of digestive issues out there, and we're going to get into some reasons why, but also some tips to eradicate these in your life. So I would say the top 2 reasons why people get gas and bloating are, number 1, poor diet containing a lot of processed food, and number 2, a lack of the proper nutrients to digest food properly. So let's get into some of these tips now. The first one I'd like to cover is food combining. So what is food combining? Well, what that means is it's properly combining your foods and meals to optimize digestion and absorption. What happens when you don't optimize this is certain foods don't go well with other foods, and the gastric juices get neutralized. That food will not digest properly, and it will sit in a warm, moist environment in your intestines, and it will rot. And the protein will putrefy, basically rot. Fat will go rancid. It will basically spoil. And carbohydrates, breads, pastas, fruits, that type of thing, will actually ferment. And that will throw off foreign acids and gases. So what you want to do is you want to combine your foods properly. So what I'm going to give you is the first and most important tip for this, and that's to avoid high starch carbohydrates with animal protein. So when you're eating eggs, chicken, turkey, beef, fish, lamb, pork, when you're eating any of those foods, you do not want to combine them with bread, pasta, rice, potatoes, high starchy fruits, high starchy vegetables, because what's going to happen is the acid is going to be released in your stomach to break down the protein, and that's the function of the stomach. One of the main functions is to produce acid. That's what it does. When that acid gets neutralized because of eating the high starch carbohydrates, which are digested by basic or alkaline juices, the acid and the base mix, right? What happens? You get neutral. So that acid is neutralized. Basically, that potato, that bite of potato you ate with your steak, or the bread you ate with your sandwich, it actually shuts off the stomach acid. And then what's going to happen is that protein's going to rot. It's going to throw off foreign acids, and it's going to create gas, bloating, heartburn, indigestion, a histamine response in the body, maybe a stuffy nose, a rash, redness, you name it. Lots of different things can cascade from there. So you do not want to add high starch carbohydrates to a protein meal. Secondly, you want to avoid eating fatty foods with high starch carbohydrates. So a lot of butter on bread, or I can think of the worst case scenario, fettuccine alfredo, right? All that cheese, oil on that high starchy pasta. Same type of situation with the protein and the starch. You're going to get a neutralizing of the stomach acid, and that fat's not going to get digested properly because that has to do more with the acid juices, and you're going to have big problems with gas and bloating. Let me give you another couple examples. McDonald's French fries, for example, or just French fries at any run-of-the-mill restaurant. Those are usually cooked in genetically modified soybean oil, so you have that high starch potato, right, soaked in this oil. It's a recipe for gas and bloating all the time, unless you have like an iron stomach. Other ideas that you want to look out for, something like a Chick-fil-A or some other breaded fish or chicken meal. Those are going to be deep fried in breading, and they're going to be also in the genetically modified seed oils, which are just really bad for you, and that's a topic for a whole other video. But those fats with the high starch carby breadings, you got to watch out for that. Any type of burger that you're gonna eat, a burger and fries, recipe for disaster for gas and bloating. You have the bread, you have the starchy potatoes, and then you have the protein of the meat, and you have the crappy fats that it's all cooked in. Another major cause of gas and bloating is poor gallbladder or liver function. So the liver is right here, gallbladder is a sac hanging right below it, and the liver performs 80 different functions in the body, but one of the functions is it makes something called bile salts. And these bile salts are stored in the form of bile in the gallbladder. And the gallbladder spits out that bile to break down fat. And what happens when you don't have the proper bile salts and gallbladder function is you're not going to be able to digest your fat properly. And one of the first symptoms that occurs is bloating and gas. To support liver and gallbladder function, I'm going to give you my 3 favorite supplements that I've used in the clinic for many, many years. First one is choline. Choline helps actually emulsify, which is a technical term for breaking down fat. And when you're lacking choline, and we get choline in our diet, and because our diet is so deficient in so many nutrients, choline included, we just don't get that nutrient to help break down our fat. I can't tell you how many patients I have helped with bloating with that product, choline. It's good to take with each meal. Sometimes the dosages vary for people, but that's really a home run that I've used for hundreds of cases over the years. Another product I use a lot of to help with gas and bloating is AF Beta Food from Standard Process. AF Beta Food works in a similar way to choline, but choline is a little more hard-hitting. So if you've had gas and bloating for a long period of time, many, many years, and it's a chronic issue, then you're going to want to look at choline first. If it's a newer symptom, you get it occasionally, maybe when you eat in certain foods, then AF Beta Food is going to be the one you want to try. AF Beta Food has a lot of beet leaf juice. It's high in a B vitamin precursor or a B vitamin derivative called betaine. And betaine is very good at helping break down fat and thinning out the bile. See, what happens is the gallbladder stores this liquid bile, and over time, from eating processed food and just living on planet Earth, being exposed to toxins and poisons, not getting the nutrients that we need, that bile will get thick. And AF Beta Food is very, very good at thinning out the bile. Also, it's very good at supporting a normal, healthy cholesterol level. Next product that really helps with gas and bloating, Livon Complex. This is an herbal remedy, and what this does is it really pairs nicely with the choline or AF Beta Food, and this helps also with liver and gallbladder function and that bile production. It's going to help from an herbal standpoint thin bile and break down fats properly. It has globe artichoke, a few other herbs in here, milk thistle, which is very supportive and regenerative for the liver. It's also really good for constipation, believe it or not. A lot of times, if you have a congested liver, you're going to have a difficulty having normal bowel movements. And this is very helpful for that, along with the choline and AF beta food. Before I get into the last couple tips on gas and bloating, let me know if you've learned anything thus far, and feel free to subscribe to our station or like it as well. We have a lot of different health videos on many different topics. Also, I want to offer, because you're listening today, I'd love to offer you my comprehensive report on food combining. Food combining is something we touched on earlier in the video, but this report's going to give you from A to Z how to incorporate it in your life, and even a list of specific foods that you should combine properly, and the rules. So this is something that I give to every new patient in my clinic. It's quite valuable, so please take advantage. It's in the description below. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to give you 10% off our Shopify store. So on any purchase in your Shopify store, I'll have a discount code for you as well. So let's get into the last few tips for gas and bloating. Next one, I want to talk about ProSymbiotic from Standard Process. This is one of the best probiotics. I use it so much in my clinic for so many different health conditions. But most people know today that the gut is critical, right? Our microbiome, the friendly bacteria in our gut is a critical thing to have fully populated with a variety of different friendly bacteria. And when we don't have those friendly bacteria in our gut, it compromises our immune system and it compromises our digestion. And one of the symptoms of a lack of good probiotics is gas and bloating. And ProSymbiotic provides phenomenal probiotics and some prebiotics that help your body proliferate those friendly bacteria in your gut, which are there and should be there to help you. We also have the deterring or negative bacteria in our gut, but we want to overpopulate with the good bacteria to keep those bad ones at bay. You always have E. coli in your stomach. You always have strep in your lungs, okay? That's just the way it is. But when you have a healthy immune system, it keeps those at bay and prevents them from growing and creating problems, right? The body has the ability to heal itself when you give it the correct nutrients and genuine replacement parts. And one of those issues is a lack of good probiotics. So check out ProSymbiotic if you have some gas and bloating. And last but not least, I want to talk about Zypan. And I talked about this on an earlier video, my GERD, reflux, acid indigestion video. But let me explain why Zypan is so beneficial. So Zypan provides the proper stomach juices and enzymes. When you don't have the proper stomach juices or enzymes, what's going to happen is everything below the stomach that's involved with digestion is not going to work properly. So the pancreas will not be stimulated to produce enzymes to break down proteins, fats, and carbohydrates. The liver will not produce the bile salts, and the gallbladder will then not have the bile to actually spit out into the digestive tract so you can break down fats properly, and then you're going to get gas and bloating. So Zypan really sets the stage for everything below, so everything digestive-wise can function properly. So you definitely want to look into Zypan as well. Now, you can use one or all of the products that I've recommended. It doesn't matter. I do pair several of these together, like the Zypan, the AF beta food, or Choline, and then the Livon. And then if you want to really make sure that your bloating is addressed and it's not a probiotic issue, then the ProSymbiotic would be beneficial as well. So, if you need to listen to this video again, feel free. But I'm telling you, if you apply some of these principles or all of these principles, you're going to really go a long way to eradicate your gas and bloating. So I threw a lot at you today. Feel free to review the information on food combining, and don't forget, in the description below, you can take advantage of that report that I'm going to give you on food combining. But also, feel free to pair a lot of these supplements together. They do have a synergistic effect. I would choose the AF beta food or the choline, depending on if you have short-term versus long-term bloating and gas. Definitely check on ProSymbiotic is something that might be beneficial for you. The Zypan primes the pump to get all of your digestive juices working. The Livon is the herbal component. So, look in on all of these and see which one resonates with you. And feel free to check out my next video on natural remedies for high blood pressure.